Hey guys, it's me Courtney and welcome to my channel. As you guys may know, Becca Cosmetics is going to be officially shutting down, closing down their doors, stopping production, all of that stuff in September, I believe. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my favorite products from Becca. I am going to be talking about a little bit of some of their releases where I think maybe they fell short. But for the most part, I wanted to shed some light on just some of my favorite Becca staples. I feel like Becca has so many products that I'm constantly using. They're in my constant rotation. Some of the products I tried and didn't like. Throughout this video, I'm going to talk about all of that while doing a full face. So if that sounds like something that you are interested in, then please continue to watch. I already have my brows done. Becca doesn't have any brow products. I did my eyes simply because Becca does have eyeshadow palettes, but the ones that they released were all pretty much shimmer, and it wasn't even shimmer that like I feel like are good eyeshadow shimmers. They're really bland. So I never really was into their shadows either. But that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into the complexion, starting with the first light priming filter, which is this right here. Now this is actually one of my favorite primers, mainly because it's really good at blurring. It has almost like a pearlescent type of situation inside of it. So while it's doing all of the blurring and everything like that, it's also like giving your face a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of glimmer, making your skin juicy. And I've always really liked that about this. All right, now y'all see the skin is nice and juicy and plump. Next, we are gonna go into the Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. If you were ever looking for a super full coverage, super thick kind of foundation, this is definitely it. This is one of those foundations you need one pump, and that is it. You don't need any more than that. Otherwise, it'll start getting really cakey, really gross looking and feeling. I feel like out of all of Becca's like actual foundations, this one was the best one in my opinion. They did have the Skin Love foundation, which I think is supposed to be a little bit more on the lighter coverage, almost like a tinted moisturizer type of situation. And I didn't like the way that that did on my skin. I felt like it wasn't really long lasting. It didn't give me the coverage that I wanted. And it almost like sunk into like every crevice and all of that stuff. It just wasn't the same kind of situation. So I wasn't a fan of that one at all. And then speaking of foundations, I do feel like the other place that like Becca kind of screwed up a little bit was where they tried to sort of, I don't know, make the customer feel like an idiot. Especially when they released like the Zero foundation or something like that. It was basically a primer that they tried to market as like a zero color foundation. Like honestly, if any brand could actually pull that off, I think it would be really innovative. But the way that they did it, it was essentially just a primer. And you were definitely paying like full price foundation wise for a primer, you know what I mean? And I feel like they kind of underestimated their customer and how like smart the consumer is. So it ended up being a lot more gimmicky than it was like innovative and cool, if that makes sense. All right, now if you take a look at the skin, with the primer coming out, it looks really shiny, really juicy, but at the same time, there's like a soft matteness to it. Definitely full coverage, covered up a lot of my moles and like all of like the mistakes on my face. Becca does have a concealer. It's called the Ultimate Coverage Concealer. It is supposed to coincide with the foundation where it's a little bit thicker. I did try it a while ago. I was not gonna repurchase it for this video simply because I hated it. It's super duper thick, kind of like the foundation. However, under the eye, I just feel like it's not the greatest for me simply because, again, I have a little bit of wrinklage, and so the thicker and heavier a product is under there, the more likely I am to crease. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Too Faced Multi Sculpting Concealer instead, and I'm gonna just highlight everything really quick. Becca also doesn't have a contour, so I'm gonna go ahead and contour as well. Go in with my powder. A long time ago, I tried the Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder, and it creased really bad on me. It was really drying under my eyes. And then they came out with the Hydro Mist setting powder, which I know a lot of people said it was like a really great powder. It's like a wet kind of feeling. It goes on wet, but then it's like dry or something like that, which was interesting to me, and I felt like it was innovative. And I was going to try it, but then a lot of people's powder started to sort of dissipate within itself, simply because it is like a water-based formula. So it kind of ended up evaporating. So I just felt like I didn't really want to go there with that powder. And then the first powder wasn't my favorite either. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I'm gonna use this first before I go in with my Becca Cosmetics, like it's a soft blur powder. I have been using this powder under my eye, but I haven't used this in conjunction with like a loose powder. So I'm gonna try that out just because I was watching a Harush video that she was doing with Patrick Starr where she did both, and I kind of want to try that and see what happens. I feel like it doesn't look that bad. Back to Becca. So now this next product is going to break my complete heart once it is discontinued completely. Of course, it is the Becca bronzer in Ipanema Sun. This is my favorite bronzer of all time. It has that beautiful brown with like a hint of like that orange in it, so it really does bronze the skin beautifully for my skin tone. It also has a little bit of gold shimmer in there, which gives the skin a little bit of dimension, a little bit of movement, which I always love. This bronzer does come in, I believe, 5 shades. Now honestly, I am gonna pick up a few of these from Becca before they are completely discontinued. This one is a brand new one. I did hit pan on the other one, got finished with it, threw that one away. And that one lasted me a pretty good amount of time. I'm also gonna use this on my under eye to sort of even everything out. It's also what I use in my crease to give my crease a little bit of dimension. Alright, moving right along. Becca does have a ton of like face palettes and stuff like that. The thing about Becca's blush palettes in general, I do feel like they would do like collabs with like Chrissy Teigen, and to me I feel like a lot of those collabs were so similar and it just wasn't ever colors that like kind of resonated with me. I'm gonna use the Pat McGrath Divine Blush in Paradise Venus. It's kind of like a terracotta-y shade. I just feel like they're just so pigmented, so buttery, so everything that like I didn't really want to pick up any of the Becca blushes. I'm gonna kind of take a little bit of that under the eye as well, for just a little bit more dimension. Now for another Becca favorite. This is the Shimmering Skin Perfector in Prosecco Pop. Becca does have a way of creating these highlighters that sort of melt into the skin just in a beautiful way. Gives you like enough shimmer, not too like blinding sometimes. I mean, I guess it depends on the shade that you get, but it always has melted into the skin. And I do feel like Becca was like the leader in sort of creating these shades for different skin tones that really bring out like that inner glow from within type of situation. They do have the regular Champagne Pop, which I think is like Becca's ultimate highlighter. It's one of their, I guess, highest selling products, so much so that I feel like they kept re-releasing and re-releasing and re-releasing and re-releasing, which is another problem I think for not just Becca but brands in general. For example, I do feel like Benefit is constantly re-releasing the Hoola bronzer in every palette that they do. If you're of a lighter skin tone and you've used that Hoola bronzer, I just don't feel like you're gonna have it in every single form. It just doesn't make sense. NARS is another brand that does it with the Orgasm blush, and I just feel like for any brand that does it, it's kind of like a cry for help, kind of like I can't think of anything else to bring, so I'm just gonna re-release that since people love it so much. And I really think brands should stop doing that. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the Prosecco Pop highlighter. Still a big fan of this one. I think I'm gonna use a little bit on the inner corners right here just to kind of brighten up the eye a little bit. Becca's lip products. I do love their glosses. They're like a minty kind of gloss. I feel like they could be plumping on somebody that maybe has sensitive skin, sensitive lips. For me, it doesn't do that much plumping, but they do give a really, really nice shine. I feel like while their lipsticks are super duper moisturizing, super beautiful, super pigmented, and I even like the way that they sort of do like different reds for different skin tones. They make it really easy for you to find the exact shade that you're looking for that way. The packaging is really nice. It has like that magnetic situation. They also have lip liners. I'm not a fan of the lip liners. I don't really like the really thin lip liners that you roll up. It's not my favorite kind of situation. I love how juicy, how soft, how moisturizing this lippy is. Oh, it's so unfortunate. I have one more thing that I want to talk about, but first let me go ahead and get the rest of my like situation together, and then I'll be right back. So another one of my Becca favorites that I wanted to talk about is the Becca Liquefied Light Highlighter. I got the shade Ignite. I feel like this came out a little bit after like the whole body shimmer thing started getting really, really popular, which is unfortunate because I do think out of all of the body shimmers that I've tried, this one is my favorite. It does actually dry down to your skin, so it's not one of those super duper sticky, super movable type of situations. The funny thing is, I was gonna do this video a little bit different where I was gonna go do a full face of Becca products. I was gonna go online and like buy a few things, but then I thought about it and I was honestly like, if I didn't care about like Becca's other stuff before, I definitely don't care now. I know that sounds harsh, but it's the truth. I feel like 2020 was a very trying year for a lot of people, of course, with everything going on. We've seen a lot of businesses sort of suffer from that. Becca is one of those businesses that I feel like is technically sort of a casualty of 2020. However, I feel like we also sort of saw Becca's decline a little bit before that. I'm not sure if the people from Becca are actually going to maybe release another beauty brand, if they're gonna go into skincare, or if they're gonna just branch out and do different things. I feel like they're really one of the less problematic brands for sure. I feel like they're one of the brands that did have, you know, deeper shades in their complexion products before a lot of brands thought it was popular. But I do want to send a huge shout out to Becca Cosmetics in general. I feel like they hold a really awesome space in beauty history, in the community in general. All of the products that I was talking about in this video is going to be in the description box below, as well as anything that's on my face that I didn't talk about, the liner, the lashes, and all of that stuff as well. But with all that being said, that about does it for me, guys. Hopefully this video was fun to watch, entertaining, all that great stuff. If so, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video if it's in your heart to do so, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh, Becca.